And so with that, I'm delighted to start with Jeff, just north of Yellowstone.
Thanks,
Okay,
Neil.
Jeff,
Can you
what
hear
was
me all
that?
right? Can you hear
Yep,
me all right? Great.
yep.
That was the howl from a very special wolf called 907 and a reminder of why we do what we do. I'm going to give a quick update on a rugged battery-powered modular device we've been building for what's called the Cry Wolf Project, a long-term study of wild wolf communication, but it applies to other species. Decoding wild wolves is tough, right? They roam large territories, live in social groups and lone wanderers. They're notoriously hard to track and rough on their bodies and any monitoring tech. And I'd like to encourage people to listen to a biologist, Dr. Dan Staler, head of Yellowstone National Park's Wolf Project, home to some of the most studied wild wolves on the planet. He challenged us early on and with this quote, innovation means nothing in conservation if it can't survive the real world's problems and price tags. So with that, in 3 years, we've recorded 200,000 hours of wolf life, including over 20 different call types, some brand new to science, and also the barfs, farts, and snores that never make it into nature documentaries. What you're seeing here is a map. Wolves, elk, and gunshots, for example, they're loud. You can think car horn loud, and we've recorded them from 8 kilometers away. We deploy battery-operated devices shown in the blue push pins here in a 6-kilometer grid across Yellowstone's northern range, which is roughly a 60-kilometer wide swath. And those colored polygons mark the territories of known breeding packs, each about 10 wolves, and the grid captures their vocal footprints, recording when they speak and when they're silent. You can go to the next slide, Neil. For the first time, we've been able to study wild wolf communication across entire landscapes, 24/7 by 365, with relatively low-cost ARUs or autonomous recording units like you're seeing here. What's interesting is ARUs like this one have many of the same electronic components as other monitoring devices. So we decided to take this approach of modularity and make acoustics modular and then combine it with, next slide. I'm not seeing the next slide. Neil, are you? Is everybody else?
Let's see, I am, right now I'm seeing no grass camera traps. Is that not updating?
There you go. There you go. So we're combining this acoustics modularity with the classic trail cam. And as you know, trail cams only have about a 20 to 30 meter detection range, and they're almost all initially triggered based on passive infrared sensors, even things like Google Nest. They're cheap and low power, but they're really bad at telling grass from a grizzly bear. So we've been focusing on the use of AI as smart triggering. You can go to the next slide. And as part of this modularity, we've come up with what we call the no grass camera trap, which filters false positives and reduces false negatives by using 2 different types of low power sensors. And this happens even before a photo is snapped or audio is recorded. And then we use TinyML to filter out unwanted objects, which might be like ravens at a bison carcass all day long. And then finally, we send a subset of true positives to the cloud where we use really robust general purpose AI to identify everything from a wolf's fur color to a poacher's brute brand. And in essence, we created a compression algorithm for low power monitoring in remote landscapes. We're kind of trying to define a new category, kind of what Neil's talking about is this singular yet modular multi-sensory recording unit that can be used across species. We call ours GrizCam, which you're seeing right here, and its little sibling, the CubCam. It's battery operated. You attach modules to it, such as an 8 terabyte storage puck, which you can increase or decrease, 360-degree audio and image recording, environmental sensors, beacon logging that we hope to work with Patrick's caller ID later, and connected and unconnected modes. And its job is to capture the sound and motion that matters, right? They also need to be rugged. We're thinking about safety for wildlife and theft proof. We're experimenting with 3D printed materials encased in wire meshes that short and shock and dishabituate an animal that touches it. Next slide. hardware without software is like the iPhone without the App Store, and modularity needs to extend all the way out to how the user manages the devices, including file naming conventions, which we all need to agree to. You're looking at our software portal there, which lets us manage millions of devices. Next. Now, beyond learning to speak Wolfish, who really cares? Our mission, conservation mission, is advancing field science and sending private landowners and combating wildlife crime. One way we incent private landowners is by making our devices practical, like how do you tell if your water tank's full or there's a trespasser on your property, but also how to handle wildlife conflict. And you may have seen Wall Street Journal's recent article about the USDA using drones to play human sounds to deter wolves from livestock. I've watched it work, but what it fails to recognize is that wolves understand human voices and human-made sounds. It's not playlists of AC/DC or Scarlett Johansson. Wolves can also identify each other's rival wolf packs. And so what we did, next slide, is in the spirit of interspecies internet, we decided to see if we could detect wolves howling with triangulation and then send them a polite keep out message in their own language. In the photo on the right, GrizCam is emitting a known deterrence mechanism, a flashing light, and it's connected to a Bluetooth speaker and playing a large wolf pack chorus howl. So I wanted to call that out, especially in light of who we're talking to. And of course, the ethics are complicated here. AI can be used to kill wildlife as well as protect them. But what I look at this group is why is there no Anduril for wildlife? And how are we going to get there? They have, billions of dollars of funding. It's going to take a collaborative effort. But like Neil said, this modularity approach and thinking through each stage as a group is what we can do to get to scale. So with that, I'll kind of close on the last slide. Neil, you asked us what we're going to do next year. We're going to focus on acoustics, including a real-time gunshot detector and a sound localization module. We need help with better low-power, fast wake-up 4K video sensors, low-power, fast wake-up acoustics AI components, and we need amplification, or I'll just say it, we need money for what we're doing in the conservation space. So thank you, and I'll end it there.
Thanks, Jeff. That's a spot-on introduction to what today is all about. Tremendous innovation that you've been able to do just in the scope of your project that has broader implications. So thanks, Jeff, and we'll go on to Patrick.